September 7th, 1939, Wizna, Poland. General Heinz Guderian, commander of the 19th Panzer Corps, studies a map in his command vehicle. His orders are simple: cross the Narew River, advance to Warsaw, crush Polish resistance. His force, 42,000 soldiers, 350 tanks, aircraft support, artillery batteries. Opposing him at Wizna, 720 Polish soldiers, 2 ancient bunkers, obsolete rifles. Guderian expects to break through in hours, maybe a day at most. 3 days later, he's still fighting. His panzers can't cross the river. His infantry is pinned down by Polish machine guns. His casualties are mounting. And the Polish commander, Captain Władysław Raginis, refuses every surrender demand. By September 10, when Wizna finally falls, Guderian has lost hundreds of soldiers and 3 days of his timetable. The Polish defenders? All dead, every single one. Their commander blew himself up with the last grenade rather than surrender. This is the story of the Battle of Wizna, the 3-day stand that stopped the Wehrmacht's unstoppable advance. Poland's Thermopylae, the battle Germany tried to forget. September 1st, 1939. Germany invades Poland. Hitler's plan: destroy Poland in weeks. The Wehrmacht strategy: Blitzkrieg, lightning war, speed, overwhelming force, never stop moving. General Heinz Guderian invented this doctrine. His book, Achtung Panzer, revolutionized warfare. Tanks don't support infantry. Tanks lead the attack, break through enemy lines, race deep into enemy territory, cause chaos, force collapse. By September 7th, Guderian's 19th Panzer Corps has already advanced 150 kilometers into Poland. Polish forces are retreating everywhere. Warsaw is 120 kilometers away. Guderian's objective: reach Warsaw within days, encircle the city, force Polish surrender. But first, he must cross the Narew River at Wizna. A small town, population 2,000, strategically meaningless except for one fact: the bridges. Control Wizna, control the river crossing. Control the crossing, advance to Warsaw continues. German intelligence reports minimal Polish defenses at Wizna. Maybe 500 soldiers. Obsolete equipment. Demoralized. Expected resistance: light. Expected breakthrough time: hours. Guderian assigns the task to the 10th Panzer Division and elements of the Lotsen Brigade, approximately 42,000 troops, 350 tanks, 108 artillery pieces, air support from Luftwaffe Stukas. Against this, Poland has Captain Władysław Raginis. Raginis is 42 years old, Polish Army engineer, career officer, fought in World War I. Knows fortifications, knows defense. On September 6th, he receives orders from the Podlaska Cavalry Brigade Command. Hold Wizna. Delay German advance as long as possible. Raginis asks, how long? His superior says, 1 day, maybe 2, long enough for Warsaw's defenses to prepare. Raginis surveys his forces. 720 soldiers, most are reservists. Older men, some teenagers. They have rifles, mostly Mauser 98s left over from World War I, 20 machine guns. 4 anti-tank rifles, 2 mortars, limited ammunition. The defensive position: 2 concrete bunkers built in the 1930s, designated Bunker 1 and Bunker 2. Both outdated. Thin concrete, no modern reinforcements. But they control the river crossing. Marshy terrain on both sides means tanks must use the bridges or ford specific points. The bunkers cover those points. Raginis divides his men. 360 soldiers per bunker, machine guns positioned to create crossfire over the river, anti-tank rifles aimed at approach routes, mortars for indirect fire. He tells his men, "We hold until relief arrives, or we die here. No retreat, no surrender." September 7th dawn, German artillery opens fire, 108 guns, 30 minutes of bombardment. Shells pound the bunkers, concrete cracks, dust and smoke everywhere. Polish soldiers huddle inside, waiting. The barrage stops. German infantry advances. 3 battalions, approximately 3,000 soldiers. They expect light resistance, maybe scattered rifle fire, quick mop-up operation. Instead, Polish machine guns open fire, disciplined, controlled bursts. The advancing Germans are caught in open ground, no cover. The marshy terrain on both sides of the road limits movement. They're funneled into the kill zone. German casualties mount. Dozens down in the first minutes. Officers shout orders. Infantry takes cover. Returns fire. But the Polish bunkers are strong defensive positions. Rifle fire bounces off concrete. German tanks move forward. Panzers and Taus. Light tanks, 20mm guns. They fire at the bunkers. Shells impact concrete. Some penetration, but not enough to destroy the positions. Polish anti-tank rifles fire back. 7.92mm armor-piercing rounds. At close range, they can penetrate light tank armor. 2 German tanks are disabled. The first German assault fails. Infantry pulls back. Casualties, 40 dead, over 100 wounded. This wasn't supposed to happen. Guderian receives the report. His response: send more troops. Heavier bombardment. Bring up the artillery again. September 7th, afternoon. Second German assault. Heavier artillery preparation. 60 minutes this time. More shells. Bunker 1 takes direct hits. Part of the roof collapses. 3 Polish soldiers killed. But the structure holds. German infantry attacks again, this time supported by Panzer III tanks. Better armored. 37mm guns. They advance to close range. Fire directly into bunker-firing ports. Polish machine guns fall silent. Germans think they've won. Then the Poles open fire again. From different firing ports. The bunkers have multiple positions. Germans didn't destroy them all. The attack stalls again. More casualties. German officers are frustrated. This is not Blitzkrieg. This is World War I trench warfare. Grinding. Slow. Bloody. By evening, Germans have gained nothing. The bunkers still stand. Polish soldiers still firing. Guderian's advance is stopped. For an entire day. By 720 Poles. That night, Raginis assesses his situation. Casualties, 50 dead, 80 wounded. Ammunition, down to 60%. No resupply possible. No reinforcements coming. Radio reports say Polish forces are retreating everywhere. Warsaw is preparing for siege. No relief column is coming to Wizna. Raginis tells his officers, "We fight tomorrow, and the day after, until ammunition is gone. Then we fight with bayonets. Then we fight with our hands. We don't surrender." September 8th, morning. Germans change tactics. They bring up heavy artillery, 150mm howitzers. These can destroy concrete fortifications. All morning, shells pound the bunkers. Massive explosions. Concrete shatters. Entire sections of Bunker 2 collapse. 40 Polish soldiers buried alive. But some firing positions survive. When German infantry advances again, Polish machine guns fire. Fewer guns now, less ammunition. But still firing, still effective. The Germans are shocked. How are these Poles still fighting? Luftwaffe Stukas join the attack. Dive bombers. They drop 500-kilogram bombs on the bunkers. Explosions shake the ground. More concrete collapses. More Polish soldiers die. By afternoon, Bunker 2 is barely functional. Only 80 soldiers still alive there. Most wounded. Ammunition nearly gone. Bunker 1 is in better condition but surrounded. German infantry has advanced close. They're throwing grenades into firing ports. Polish soldiers throw them back out before they explode. This happens multiple times. It's desperate, chaotic, brutal. Evening, September 8th. Germans control the approaches to both bunkers, but they don't control the bunkers. Polish soldiers inside refuse to surrender. They're cut off, no escape, but still fighting. German casualties by end of day 2, over 300 dead, nearly 1,000 wounded. Guderian is furious. His elite Panzer Corps is stuck at a river crossing. Warsaw is still 120 kilometers away. His timetable is destroyed. Other German units are advancing. He's falling behind. This is humiliating. He orders total destruction. Use everything. Flatten the bunkers. Kill everyone inside. September 9th. The final German assault. This time, they don't try to capture the bunkers. They try to bury them. Engineers bring up explosive charges, flamethrowers, concentrated artillery fire. The goal, make the bunkers uninhabitable. Kill everyone inside through blast overpressure, fire, suffocation. All day, explosions, fire, smoke. Bunker 2 finally falls silent by noon. Everyone inside dead. Buried under rubble or killed by fire and smoke. 80 Polish soldiers gone. Bunker 1 holds until evening. By then, ammunition is almost gone. 60 Polish soldiers still alive, most wounded, water gone, food gone, no sleep for 3 days. They're beyond exhaustion, beyond fear. They're simply holding because their captain ordered them to hold. Raginis is in Bunker 1, wounded in the leg. He can barely walk. He gathers his remaining officers, maybe 15 men still able to fight. He tells them, "It's over. We've held for 3 days. We've done our duty. Relief isn't coming. Ammunition is gone. The end is here." One officer asks, "Surrender?" Raginis looks at him, says, "I will not surrender to Germans. I will not give them the satisfaction. I will not let them parade me as a prisoner. I am a Polish officer. I will die here." He pulls the pin on his last hand grenade, holds it against his chest, tells his men, "Get out if you can. I'm staying." The grenade detonates. Captain Władysław Raginis dies instantly. Some of his officers try to escape through the ruins. Most are shot by German soldiers surrounding the bunker. A few surrender. They're the only Polish survivors of Wizna. Fewer than 40 men out of 720. September 10th, morning. Germans finally control Wizna. The bunkers are rubble. The crossing is clear. Guderian's advance resumes, but he's lost 3 days, and he's lost between 300 to 900 soldiers. German records are contradictory. Official reports say minimal casualties. Officer diaries and letters mention hundreds dead. The truth was probably buried because admitting 720 Poles inflicted such losses was humiliating. Guderian's memoir, written after the war, mentions the invasion of Poland. He describes rapid advances, easy victories, weak resistance. He never mentions Wizna. Not once. The battle that stopped his course for 3 days is absent from his account. Erased. Forgotten. Inconvenient. Why did Wizna matter? Not strategically. Poland lost the war. Warsaw fell. The 3-day delay at Wizna didn't change the outcome, but it mattered psychologically. For Poles, it proved resistance was possible, even against overwhelming odds, even with obsolete weapons. Courage could force Germany to bleed. For Germans, Wizna was an embarrassment. Blitzkrieg doctrine said speed and force would shatter any defense, but 720 Poles with 2 bunkers stopped 42,000 Germans for 72 hours. That wasn't supposed to be possible. If it happened at Wizna, it could happen elsewhere. Suddenly, the unstoppable Wehrmacht looked stoppable. After the war, Wizna was forgotten. Germany didn't want to remember. Poland, under Soviet control, didn't emphasize battles from the 1939 campaign. The Soviets had also invaded Poland from the east in September 1939. They didn't want to celebrate Polish resistance. It might inspire resistance against Soviet occupation. The West never knew Wizna happened. For decades, the battle existed only in a few Polish history books. Captain Raginis became a footnote. The 720 defenders were forgotten. But in 2009, 70 years after the battle, Poland finally honored them. A monument was erected at Wizna. Captain Raginis was posthumously promoted to major. The battle was taught in Polish schools. Comparisons to Thermopylae were made. 300 Spartans held for 3 days against Persians. 720 Poles held for 3 days against Germans. Both faced impossible odds. Both chose death over surrender. The parallel is striking. At Thermopylae, the Spartans faced perhaps 100,000 to 300,000 Persians, ratio 1 to 300 at minimum. At Wizna, Poles faced 42,000 Germans, ratio 1 to 58. Both battles were delaying actions. Both allowed their nations more time to prepare. Both ended with total defender annihilation. Both commanders died in battle rather than surrender. Yet Thermopylae is famous. Wizna is forgotten. Why? Thermopylae happened 2,500 years ago. Time made it legendary. Wizna happened 85 years ago. It's recent history, still politically complicated. Greece won respect from Persia after Thermopylae. Poland lost everything after Wizna. Winners write history. Losers are forgotten. But the soldiers at Wizna deserve to be remembered, not because they won. They didn't. Not because they changed the war's outcome. They didn't. But because they proved that courage isn't about winning. Courage is about standing when everything says run, fighting when everything says surrender, dying when living means dishonor. Captain Raginis knew he couldn't win. He knew relief wasn't coming. He knew every one of his men would die. He fought anyway, not for victory, for duty, for honor, for Poland. He held for 3 days because he was ordered to hold. And when he could hold no longer, he chose how he would die, on his feet, fighting, with a grenade in his hand, defiant to the last second. The 720 Polish soldiers at Wizna were not professional warriors. They were farmers, factory workers, teachers, clerks, reservists called up in an emergency, given obsolete rifles and told to stop the most powerful army in the world. They did it for 3 days. They inflicted hundreds of casualties on an enemy that outnumbered them 60 to 1. They forced Heinz Guderian, architect of Blitzkrieg, to stop and fight a siege battle. They died to the last man rather than surrender. That is why Wizna matters, not because it changed history, but because it reveals something fundamental about human courage. The ability to fight impossible odds, the refusal to accept inevitable defeat, the choice to die with dignity rather than live with shame. Poland lost the war in 1939. But at Wizna, for 3 days, Poland did not lose. 720 men held the line. They paid with their lives. But they held. This is the Battle of Wizna, September 7th to 10, 1939. Poland's Thermopylae. The battle Germany erased from its history. The battle the world forgot. The battle that proved courage doesn't need victory to matter. It just needs men willing to stand when everyone else runs, to fight when everyone else surrenders, to die when everyone else chooses to live. Captain Władysław Raginis and his 720 defenders stood. They fought, they died, and for 85 years almost nobody knew their names. But now you do. Remember Wizna. Remember the 720. Remember that courage exists even in defeat, especially in defeat.